This is a series of 100 films about Japanese places I've been, and this is a film about the place where Japan comes from. Takachiho is a gorge in Miyazaki Prefecture on the island of Kyushu in western Japan. It's serviced by local buses from Nobeoka on the JR Kyushu Nippo Line. The first time I went here was my second year in Japan. I'd taken a winter vacation to Kyushu and I'd bought a Seishin Juhachi Kippu, a young person's 18 ticket, and it allowed me to travel as far as I wanted on the local trains of Japan Railways lines, and these are the very slow trains, and to get to Takachiho was a really difficult time. You see, I'd been staying in a place called Beppu in Kyushu, a hot spring town, and it literally smells like sulfur. Heading further south, I traveled down the east coast of the island of Kyushu. However, once you pass Oita, which is a city of about 500,000 people, passengers start to thin out, and the local trains became very hard to come by. In fact, there were only 3 of them every day. One of those was around 7 in the morning, and the other 2 were in the afternoon. However, I managed to get the local train that services Nobeoka, a small town midway between Oita and Miyazaki City. I got off the train mid-afternoon. I got a bus from the train station, a local bus to Takachiho, which is inland. It's about a 50-minute journey. And I swear, except for 2 girls who were obviously tourists, every single person on that bus was over 75 years old. And it was kind of funny because each time the bus stopped, it stopped at some old person's driveway and waited while they got off the bus. And about 45 minutes later, we ended up at the town of Takachiho, a quaint, small little village of 12,000 people. At the town, you transfer to get another bus to get to the gorge. And you'll know it when you arrive. Takachiho is one of the most stunningly beautiful places in the entire country. There's stunning mountains and bridges with huge spans over the gorge. You travel down this winding road to the very bottom, which takes you to the river, and the place where supposedly the sun goddess sent her grandson to establish the line of Japanese emperors. It's a main scripture of the Shinto religion. Although the Japanese don't talk about it much, they're not as strict with religion as many Westerners because they also believe in Buddhism. And as well, plenty of people get married in Catholic ceremonies. So what you might not know is that there are multiple Shinto gods, and when kids are playing sports, they pray to the gods, not just one, but many. It's polytheistic. Now, Takachiho is an incredible place. Just wandering over the bridges, the view is spectacular. You can rent rowboats to getting close to the waterfall in the middle of the gorge. But even if you're walking just around the visitor center, around the riverbank, it's a stunning walk. People often go on about how great Mount Fuji is, but I think your money is better spent here. I was there right in the middle of winter, and it was still warm even in late December, despite very little sunlight reaching the bottom of the gorge. The water is incredibly blue, and it's not crowded, not surprising for such a remote location. What I remember most distinctly is walking back. I had traveled down into the gorge by bus, but had wandered far from the visitor center. So I decided to walk back up towards the main road to catch the return bus home. And that was when I found myself on a bridge with guardrails barely higher than my knee. And I'm about 6 feet tall. This infrastructure was obviously built to the standards of much shorter people. And while it had a beautiful view over the Takachiho Gorge, large trucks just thundered past, and there was a narrow part of the asphalt for pedestrians. It wasn't even a real protected sidewalk, and this was literally the most terrifying walk I've ever been on. Eventually I found the bus stop and got back to Nobeoka, but for a while there it was pretty touch and go, staring down at a gorge that's 1,000 feet all the way to the bottom. Nevertheless, I recommend everyone to visit Takachiho. How do I get there? If you're new to Japan, you'll probably want to start in Tokyo, go to Haneda Airport, fly to Miyazaki International Airport, take the Miyazaki Kukou Line to Miyazaki Station, transfer to the Nippo Line, get off at Nobeoka, take bus number 72 to the Takachiho Bus Center. The gorge is about 20 minutes on foot from the center of town. Keep in mind, by the time you're watching this information might be out of date. The word of the day is ima. It means now or right now in Japanese, useful when the waiter asks you when you want dessert. So if you want to remember this word, feel free to watch this video 10 more times and repeat along with me. Or at least that's what I do. Next time. So that's it. Until next time when we visit a place so north, most Japanese have no idea where it is. So until then, sayonara.